Hey all, I wanted to show you some of my Billy Collins book, my personal collection. Billy Collins was a poet laureate about 6 years ago, I would guess. I believe he was the one before the current one. Big favorite of mine, as those of you who know me know. And I have a hardback of The Trouble with Poetry. One of my favorite collections. Questions about Angels. The Art of Drowning, which has some fantastic poems. And I have Sailing Alone around the room at home. Only two missing from his entire oeuvre. One is 9 Horses, and the other is The Apple That Astonished Paris. And yesterday, on Christmas, my wife gave me 9 Horses. So the only one missing from my collection is The Apple That Astonished Paris. And I found this all used. I mean, I deal in new and used books, but finding these things used is much more satisfying. I actually knew I was getting this for Christmas because Kimberly saw it somewhere, picked it up, and said, "Oh, Joffrey has this. It's too bad. I'm not going to be able to give it to him for Christmas." So she showed it to me, like, "Look what I found. Aren't you proud? Let's put it in the store." And I said, I don't have that book. So she wrapped it up and put it under the tree. 9 Horses. I don't know if you can see the cover there, but that was actually a piece of art that Billy Collins' wife gave to him. There's a poem about that in this collection. Somehow, photographs of this horse or horses were laid on black stone. So that's actually white on stone. Don't know how it was done, but that's pretty dang cool. Anyway, I thought I would read to you a poem from this collection. It's called Litany. If you've if you've ever heard, I have this on CD, it's fantastic. He did a reading in New York for public radio, for the benefit of public radio. And Bill Murray actually introduced it. It's one of the reasons it sells well. It's called Litany, and you can actually find several videos of Billy Collins reading this himself. It's funny, and he's funny reading it. But I'm going to go ahead and read it anyway. It's one of my favorites of his. And it's actually kind of a mean-spirited poem. Pardon me. In that, he's actually sort of making fun of a poet whose lines he read in some magazine. The poem is called Litany, and the lines in the poem that he read are by Jacques Criquelon, Jacques. "You are the bread and the knife, the crystal goblet and the wine." So here's the poem, Litany. "You are the bread and the knife, the crystal goblet and the wine. You are the dew on the morning grass and the burning wheel of the sun. You are the white apron of the baker and the marsh bird suddenly in flight. However, you are not the wind in the orchard, the plums on the counter, or the house of cards. And you are certainly not the pine-scented air. There is no way you are the pine-scented air. It is possible that you are the fish under the bridge, maybe even the pigeon on the general's head, but you are not even close to being the field of cornflowers at dusk. And a quick look in the mirror will show that you are neither the boots in the corner nor the boat asleep in the boathouse. It might interest you to know, speaking of the plentiful imagery of the world, that I am the sound of rain on the roof. I also happen to be the shooting star, the evening paper blowing down an alley, and the basket of chestnuts on the kitchen table. I am also the moon in the trees and the blind woman's teacup. But don't worry, I am not the bread and the knife. You are still the bread and the knife. You will always be the bread and the knife, not to mention the crystal goblet and, somehow, the wine." There it was, Litany. Definitely a humorous poem, which he's known for having a light tone. There's some deeply moving stuff in this collection as well. So 9 Horses, which of course you can pick up from me new. And I hope you enjoyed that reading. I'm going to go ahead and relight my pipe. Hope you guys had a great Christmas.